Ashley. I'm an artist, and I just started taking it a little bit more seriously in the last year. It's always something I've loved to do. It's my passion. I've been doing it since I was like 6 or 7 maybe. I was a small girl, and I started with like sketches of still life. So just like somebody would set something up on the table and I would just draw whatever I saw, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. And so I started to pick up, painting and trying different things, different techniques. My aunt is really the one who got me started with all that stuff. So thank you to Ida. She got me my first art supplies, my first sketchbook, and she kind of just got me started with everything. It definitely was nice to have him there, have his support. He definitely was very sensitive about it at the end, telling me how proud he was and how he could have seen this coming even if I didn't, and all those nice good things that a dad is supposed to say, I guess. It was nice. It was nice to have him. He was asking a lot of questions about preparation. What do you need? How can I help you? What would make this easier for you? So it's definitely appreciated. He's definitely one of the people who pushed me a lot as I was growing up to follow my dreams. My dad is a big dreamer, as most people know. So he's always had dreams of his own that he wanted to get started, and his big thing is just, follow your dreams. It's okay. Like, everything else can wait, or everything else will still be there, but do the things that make you happy. And life is short, so you got to live passionately, just put yourself out there, be brave. And I can be very thankful for him and when it comes to stuff like that, because if ever I need to have a conversation, or if I ever need a little pep talk, I'll just call my dad and he'll be like, no, everything is fine. Everything is working out. Like, it's great. No, like, don't be scared, so it's like that tough guy. It's like the tough love, but still a little bit soft. Yeah, so I've always been really big on family. I think I'll always be really big on family. And there's so many of us, but we're just all so close. So, I mean, through the years, on my dad's side of the family, everyone it's like a creative mind, everyone. Like, so my dad is a welder. My uncle is a carpenter. My aunt, she's an artist. She does art therapy, and she works as an art teacher in a school as well. So, my grandma, she helps design clothing. She's a seamstress. So, it's a little bit of everything. And so I guess I could say I get part of my creative spark from that side of the family. And on my mom's side of the family, they're a little bit more logical thinkers, which is totally fine. So I think I have a little bit like the best of both worlds there. But they've definitely always been supportive. They've definitely always known that, what I can do with my art. So my mom is very, she's really logical with her thinking. So her thing was more like, okay, let's just get started. Just get started. Like, stop overthinking everything about, well, when I do the website, how is this going to work? Or the business side of everything. So she works a lot with that kind of stuff. She works as an executive assistant for a big company. And so she's doing a lot of computer work, a lot of things like that. And so she's like, listen, everything will fall into place. Like, because my thing was, well, I'm starting this, but what about payments? What about, how am I going to take this? How is it going to work with the website? Am I going to take it through the website? Am I going to take it through like my personal account? Like, what am I going to do? How about taxes? How about this? And she's like, you need to like slow down, like relax, like just start somewhere, and everything else will flow. It'll come as you go. Like, you'll learn it as you go, and you'll get good at it. And eventually you won't be thinking about those things anymore. It'll just be like second nature. Like, okay, this is what's going to happen. So now this is the next step. And so definitely she helped calm me down with all that. I think it was important that I just get started. It was like don't think about it, just do it. And then think about it as you go. Through the years, through school and everything, I've always taken art classes and things like that. But you get older and life happens, and you kind of slowly stop doing the things that you like the hobbies, the passions, the things that, you know, you become an adult and you're like, I have to get ready for the real world. I have to do things in the real world. And sometimes you forget about those things that make you happy, the things that you're passionate about, the things that make you feel alive. And so I would say maybe when COVID started, even before that, I was getting like here and there, I would do like a sketch or two. But when COVID started and things got locked down, like so many other people, I started doing that again. And I was like, I really forgot how much I love this. And so that's where everything kind of started. And then even then, I wasn't thinking, oh, let me take this seriously and let's see. It's just, you know, those little negative, annoying thoughts that you have that you're like, no one's really going to care about this. Like, no one's going to want to see what I have, like, what, you know, what I can do. So yeah, it took definitely took some courage to put myself out there. I think everyone was a little surprised to see everything that was there, you know, which was kind of cool because I guess it's been long enough and they haven't seen too much of my stuff, my recent stuff. So when they saw it, they're like, oh wow, like I forgot you could do this. Or you've gotten so much better, like after the last, you know, time that I saw your work. So it's definitely nice. It's definitely, I think that they're very important. It's super important to have that kind of support, to have people, you know, pushing you and saying like, hey, like it's okay, you can do it. I think they've come to accept the fact that this is what I'm passionate about and this is what I want to do. And so even if they don't agree on certain things, or maybe they have certain worries about me pursuing this as like a real thing, I think they've come to accept it and they've come to just, you know, be happy for me because they see how happy I am when I'm doing it. So I can definitely appreciate it, for sure. Sometimes I'll be like getting ready for bed and I'll have an idea and I'll be like, oh man, if I don't write this down right now, I might not think of it the same way tomorrow, or I might completely forget. So my notes on my phone are full of like, I can't even tell you how many ideas, and I'll write like little words here and there, and it'll like if somebody else reads it, they'll be like, what the hell is this? Like, so a couple of the fluid art, smaller pieces, I did them a couple months before I did the portraits, and the portraits are actually the same colors as those fluid pieces, like the backgrounds of the portraits. So I tested it out on the smaller pieces first, and I said, why don't I try to, you know, add something interesting to this? So the portraits are black and white, and then the backgrounds are all like full of color. Music to me, and it depends on my mood too, because I listen to everything. So I'll have like my rock days, I'll have my rap days, I'll have my Spanish rock or reggaeton days. I'll have, it depends on the mood, but music is always playing in the background, like when I'm working, like because it's calming. It's like a, like just some background noise. It helps, I don't know, for whatever reason, it helps soothe me. Like it helps me get more into the mood to work and paint. It's like, again, like I'm in my own world. Everything else is gone. The abstract work that was at the show was more, it was fluid art. So it's like acrylic paint. You mix it with some kind of medium that makes it more liquidy. And you just throw it on the canvas. You pour it on there, and you can either use a blow dryer to move it around, use any kind of, you know, other air. Some people like to blow on it themselves, but also you can just tilt the canvas and see where the paint falls. So that's definitely a little more relaxed. It would seem like, oh, okay, that's easier to do because you're just doing whatever. It just, the paint falls where it falls. With the portraits, it's more concentrated, like I need more focus, so I'm concentrating more. And it could get a little frustrating because sometimes in the beginning, or a lot of times in the beginning, it looks crazy. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is not what I want. This was not the plan. But then, you know, you stick it out and you're like, all right, let's keep doing this. It's layer over layer over layer. So I would say I'm probably even more focused, and that takes me away more than the abstract stuff. With the portraits, I don't know. I went into the art show thinking like I've been doing a lot of the abstract stuff lately, and it's fun. But there's more that I can do, so I kind of wanted to show a little bit of both. So the abstract would probably be the more like relaxed, more fun, more like go with the flow kind of side of me, I guess. And the portraits are more like, you know, taking the beauty in the more complicated things and the, you know, the things that you see exactly for what they are. And a portrait that I paint is not going to be the same as a portrait that somebody else paints, obviously. So I just think it's interesting that when I'm looking at something, and if, let's say, you were to look at something, we would see different things and pick out different details, especially like on people. So that always fascinated me. People probably look at it and think like, oh, you know, it's just celebrities, like they're just famous people and that's why she chose them. But really why I chose them. So for example, I have one of J-Lo, and I feel like they all kind of mesh with the process that I'm going through in my life right now, with, you know, just believing that you can have your dream, believing that it's already yours, and making it happen, and trusting that it's gonna happen for you. So with them, I feel like each of them has like a different story of how they came about. Like with J-Lo, I like how she portrays herself as a strong woman. She has a vision and she makes it happen. I did one of Lady Gaga. She's always been the person to not care what anybody thinks. People have opinions about her left and right. She does a lot of crazy stuff sometimes, you know, crazy stuff. And she's just like, whatever. She's happy with herself. She's fine with herself. She always had that like confidence and that belief in herself that, no, it doesn't matter. Like everything is always working out for me anyway. Like I'm gonna be the person, the star that I wanted to be. Same thing with Billie Eilish. Like she started in her room, I believe. It was with her brother, and they were making music in her room. And just the fact that just the fact that she started, even if she didn't have like a whole studio or everything like set up perfectly, she started and she blew up pretty fast. With Bad Bunny, same thing. I like him because he's very, he's another one who just doesn't care what people have to say about him. He's very gender fluid, I guess, kind of. He's you know, in support of, you know, women and men, you know, gay, straight, whatever. I really like that. His you know, whole thing seems to be, you know, love and unity, which I'm really about that. Also, I did Jhené Aiko. To me, she's like a ray of sunshine. She's always, even her music, she's very calming, very in touch with herself, emotionally and everything like that. And she's very big on like the meditation. And so I really like her. Listening to her music always calms me down. And then I did Rosalia too. And she's a strong, you know, strong woman in today's music. She portrays herself like that for sure. She's very comfortable in her sexuality. She's another one that doesn't care how people think of her, and she tries new things with her music all the time, and it's always working out. She just makes it happen. So yeah, that's why I picked all of them. They kind of, and then I put myself in there. So there's a self-portrait too, where it's kind of like, all right, I'm going through my own process of all this, like believing in myself and pushing myself to the limits, seeing how far I can go, and putting myself out there and just trusting that things are going to work out. You know, because like I said, if you put it out there with love, it's going to come back like that. So that's really why or how the whole process came about to choose all the people that I did paint for the show. My kind of art is not photography, so it's not going to be exactly like a photo. So if a little bit spills onto the people's faces, I can either fix it with more paint or I can leave it like that. So that kind of helped me relax a little bit. So I think that I'm proud of how they all came out. The Bad Bunny one, I have to say, is my favorite because the colors on there are like, they really stand out to me. That was like the one that I was most nervous to do. That was the last one that I did the background on, because I was like, okay, let me just try all these other ones first and then I'll do the colors on this one. So yeah, it worked out. I've always been a fan of Van Gogh. Like, I like his story. I like his work. His work is just very different. It's like a bunch of little pieces that you put all together, layer, 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 until it creates one big thing. And it's abstract, but you could still see exactly what's going on. So also I like how he pursued his art. He still enjoyed doing his art. People thought he was crazy for whatever reason, and it's what made him happy, so he just kept doing it. Now, in the more modern days, there's this girl that I follow. She's under Art by Ayala, and her work is amazing to me. Like, it's full of color, like full of life, full of creativity. She's a young Colombian-American artist, and she talks a lot about how her roots, her indigenous roots, like influence her art, and it's just been really cool to see her, like through time, get up there, like keep building herself up. And she just seems to be doing really well for herself. So it's kind of nice to see that. It's definitely inspiring as a Hispanic, woman who's also an artist and trying to get into the art world and trying to, make connections with people and everything like that. It's definitely inspiring to see her doing that, because it makes me feel like, well, why not me too? It was cool. It was cool to see them like looking at everything and like taking pictures of stuff and like, talking to each other about it. It was definitely cool. I felt pretty official. I felt really cool. But it was actually very emotional, but in a good way. It's not like I was in the bathroom crying the whole time, but it was definitely refreshing to see everyone enjoying themselves and having a good time, and all the people that came to support me. It was like incredible. I'm so grateful for that. But I think it was nice to, I think they were happy to be there. Just the energy that was in the room was like amazing. So I think they truly were feeling how happy I was, and therefore they were happy. So that was really nice, reassuring, definitely. There's a few things that I would love to do. I would say in the next year, I'm hoping to travel a little more with my work, maybe around the States, maybe outside of the States. That would be nice. I'm looking to go to different places, maybe Miami, maybe Cali, maybe, Vegas, who knows? Like, just places that I feel would really enjoy my work. I want to try new things to improve as an artist, to grow as an artist, test things out and experiment with different techniques and stuff, and different works of art, different pieces, so that I can truly find like my signature style, I guess. So when people see my stuff, they're like, okay, like I know who did that. So that's the plan. I think that we're truly limitless, and I think we just need to take more time to program ourselves that way, to program our brains that way. I think a lot of the time we're coming from fear and not from love. I feel like if you come from love, really not much can go wrong. And I find that I feel the most love, I feel like my best self when I'm doing the things that I love to do. So painting is definitely, I feel like my best self when I'm doing that, because it comes from love. And I don't know, I feel like if that's the energy you're putting out, that's what you get back.